post-W12 era, particularly through the 1950s and 1960s, marked a period where psychological warfare, covert military operations, and cultural manipulation converged in ways that fundamentally reshaped the collective consciousness. The baby boomer generation, born into a world teetering between the aftermath of global conflict and the dawning of an intense Cold War, was raised in a time of immense societal pressure, political division, and covert psychological experiments. It is during these years that we see the seeds of an orchestrated effort, whether through the military, media, or state-sponsored manipulation, to mold society into a state of compliance, addiction, and unthinking obedience. The military, a cornerstone of national power, was not only a force for defense, but a tool for control. Soldiers were not merely trained to follow orders, they were subjected to experiments designed to strip away the very essence of free will. Through programs like MKUltra, the CIA explored mind-altering techniques, ranging from LSD experiments to the use of trauma and hypnosis, all aimed at creating individuals who could be controlled through mental manipulation. This experimentation, often hidden under the guise of national security, turned many unsuspecting individuals, soldiers and civilians alike, into unwitting pawns, subjects of a larger geopolitical struggle, all while creating a generation less likely to resist and more likely to comply. The result? A populace fractured in its ability to question, disoriented and misdirected, distracted by altered states of consciousness and filled with a sense of helplessness. But the mind control agenda did not stop with military personnel. The government's influence bled into the civilian population through more insidious means. The strategic distribution of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco can be seen as a form of indirect social control. Drugs like heroin and crack cocaine began to flood urban communities, possibly as part of a calculated effort to destabilize potential resistance groups, particularly in the 1960s when social movements were at their peak. These substances, mind-altering and addictive, created a state of dependency, both physical and psychological. Simultaneously, alcohol and tobacco became normalized pillars of society, often used to dull the senses and impair critical thinking, reinforcing the very control they sought to exert. This model of control was not only about subduing bodies, but also shaping minds. The influence of propaganda through television, film, and media reinforced these narratives, ensuring that people remained passive consumers of state-approved information. The result was a populace deeply entrenched in material distraction, chasing external validation, while the deeper questions of existence, power, and autonomy remained hidden beneath layers of societal conditioning. In this framework, one might ask, is this a divine plan of awakening, where the struggle of the individual against these forces is ultimately designed to bring about a greater awareness of the self and the power inherent within? Or is it part of a more sinister, long-term strategy to perpetuate division, control, and submission? The choice of the individual, in this case, is paramount. Will they remain as passive recipients of these orchestrations, or will they wake up to the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface? Questions to reflect on. 1. Are the systems of control, whether through the military, drugs, or societal programming, a means of keeping the population distracted and docile? 2. How does the use of mind-altering substances, whether intentionally or not, serve to diminish free will and individual agency? 3. In a world filled with distractions and false narratives, what does true sovereignty look like? 4. Is the spread of addictive substances part of a larger plan to keep humanity enslaved, or could it serve as a catalyst for awakening those who see beyond the veil? 5. What role does the military-industrial complex play in shaping the narrative of war, and how has it evolved into a tool for controlling the masses? 6. How do symbols, rituals, and media influence our subconscious understanding of power and autonomy? 7. Is the manipulation of the mind, whether through drugs, media, or military tactics, a reflection of a deeper cosmic struggle for consciousness, or is it simply a means to perpetuate control over the collective human soul? This exploration is not about asserting absolute truths, but rather about inviting deep reflection on the nature of control, autonomy, and awareness. The extent to which these systems have shaped our world may never be fully understood, but in questioning their influence, we begin to break free from the chains that bind us. Hypothetically, this research invites us to peer into the undercurrents of society and ask, what forces are truly shaping our reality? And how can we reclaim our sovereignty from the hands that would seek to manipulate us? This is all for educational and hypothetical purposes. Reflect, explore, and question, for in the asking lies the key to unlocking deeper understanding. As we journey through the depths of these questions, remember that each step is a reflection of our inner sovereignty and awakening. The true power lies not in submission, but in self-realization, in seeing through the illusion and reclaiming what is ours by divine right. Cosmocrat, transcend infinity and beyond.